Hello, welcome back today, and we're gonna bring back a nowcast discussion. This is gonna be pretty brief. This is probably the main thing I'm probably gonna do for the next little bit because I tried to get some forecast discussions out there recently, but there's been no audio. So if there's gonna be no audio, then I guess we'll do something shorter. Today we have a slight risk across pretty much southern plains, extending it to the mid south, as well we have another slight risk over northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. Marginal over Ontario and North Dakota. We won't be covering that, but we'll be covering the two main slight risk regions for right now. We're going to be mainly covering the southern target. We have a 5% TOR placed over there, down there. 15% wind. Looks like a potential MCS cluster is going to develop later this evening. We had a damaging wind threat, and then further north, we have a mesoscale. We have an MCV, and that's going to get it done. That's why we have 2% up there too. And then we also got 15% hail as well, 15 hatched further south. Although I think the strong buoyancy really is going to be a limiting factor with this. But taking a look at water vapor imagery right now, we do have pretty much broad trough. We pretty much have a pretty broad trough just up to the northeast. And pretty much beyond that, we have zonal flow across much of the CONUS right now. You can kind of see that a little bit of a convectively enhanced shortwave up into Minnesota, into Wisconsin, and we have that shortwave trough. That's going to be the main player for tomorrow. Strong flow associated with this on the backside. And behind this, we're going to have a building ridge, and that's pretty much going to be the main cause, really, with mainly a dead pattern going into probably the next week after today. Tomorrow's going to be another severe threat, but after that, it looks kind of slim. Although maybe once you get towards the middle, the end of the month, there could be some severe storms. I'm not going to get too much into that, though. Okay. Morning soundings. This is pretty much what Davenport shows, 64 over 61. Strong low level flow, and that low level flow should sustain throughout the day. Pretty stable, though, in the low levels, but given that low level warm air advection regime, I think we definitely moistened up quite a bit as well with some strong surface heating taking place even right here. The temperatures are in the mid 80s, dew points in the 70s. And then further south, pretty much a pretty similar picture. Very moist, definitely a lot more of a moist layer though, with a stout EML aloft, 9.1 degrees Celsius per kilometer being the max lapse rate. And strong instability aloft. And we've probably seen some substantial low-level moistening. And if we go a little bit closer in, so we got a very large MCS ongoing. But further south, we do have a pretty decent MCS actually. And then we have that outflow boundary draped, and that's pretty much stalled. You can see that boundary right there. You can see it has stalled across pretty much along the Red River. And that's going to be your focal point for thunderstorms and potentially your tornado, a potential strong to intense tornado threat. If any, it's rather conditional, but I wouldn't particularly doubt it given the strong low-level thermodynamics. And you can see from right here, we have a dry line. It looks like kind of see 94 over 71, and then you got with southwesterlies. And then you got 92 over 51 with some westerlies, 99 over 30. If we go take a look at, you can pretty much see it pretty much a lot better here. That a little bit of a dry line bulge in some sense. And then right over the Red River, you have some packed low winds, 84 over 73, 91 over 71. And then further to the south and east, you have 85 over 70, 75, 87 over 76. That's going to affect right into the Red River these next few hours, resulting in very strong destabilization. See, some lingering convective inhibition, very strong level mixed layer K values up to 5,000 joules per kilogram, and that's going to pretty much spread just to the north and west. And looking at the overall upper air pattern, pretty similar scene. You can see a little bit of that convectively enhanced shortwave that trough over the northwest, zonal flow in general, and 850 millibars. You do have pretty weak flow, but your flow is maximized over in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin, which is kind of your area. And going to the next few hours, not too much strengthening, some gradual weakening of the flows is expected up there, but I think more of a. We'll take a look at northwest. It's the northern target now, and you can see from right here, pretty much along just south of the Illinois-Wisconsin border. It's looking pretty good. I think there might be some cloud cover associated with some convection. Yep. And just to the south, this convection is going to lift pretty much to the north, and that's going to yield pretty decent destabilization. Mixed-layer K values up to 2,000 joules per kilogram. And that's going to pretty much keep going. That's going to affect a little bit further to the north and east. And as the shortwave really begins to impinge the region, you see that 30, 35 knot flow. That's going to be able to allow for organization to some supercells and linear segments with accompanying damaging wind, large hail, and maybe a tornado threat too. I think really, take a look at some photographs. Photographs are pretty small right now, although you can see a little bit some enlarging action, some enlarging in the low levels. I think this is probably due to some low level backing. Yeah, you can see the low levels back as a result of that convectively enhanced shortwave ejecting into a region, inducing a little bit of a low level response, resulting in some back to lower level wind fields. Looking pretty good, looking pretty good. I think it's going to be more of an isolated threat. I think this is not really one of those particularly robust setups, really low flows, kind of on the weaker side. And you can see 20 to 25 knots of 850 millibar flow. And you probably more likely going to have to rely on one of the more robust MCV setups we've seen, accompanying like 40 to 50 knot of 850 millibar flow. So it's more of a low end threat, but I wouldn't be too shocked to see a tornado threat evolve. So with the southern target, you can see that low level threat, low level instability. Destabilization is going to continue. Cap is going to pretty much entirely erode, and you're probably going to see some supercells initiate around the Texas Panhandle region, where you have a little bit of some enhanced low level convergence, and then it's going to gradually slide southeast, and that's where you get your tornado threat. Take a look at photographs right now. Probably will see some decent enlarging in the low levels. Yeah, those are some pretty solid low-level photographs. Now, it might be rather small, but when you have your 5,000, 6,000 joules per kilogram mixed-layer cape, you're going to see some intense supercells with posing an all-hazards threat. So you can see surface seeing will probably continue to take place, and then pretty much you got a little bit of, you can see pretty much at the nose really of this, you're going to see initiation in the moisture tongue. You're going to see some initiation. Her is probably going to promote this. It's been promoting maybe a supercell or two, gradually shifting off to the south and east, gradually. Maybe a little bit, few more supercells. And given the strong low-level instability, you're going to see a pretty rapid shift, I think. You're going to probably see maybe initially a large hail threat, but as you get closer to like 0Z, you're going to see a pretty quick transition to potentially a strong tornado threat. So that's pretty much what the herd's been promoting. We can go even to the 15Z run. This doesn't really fire too much actually. I know the 12Z run had some robust initiation even further to the southeast, which I think is probable. I think take a look at every single one of these runs. I think initiation is likely. Hey, this was the first run actually that initiates. Interesting. Okay. This was, and her didn't fire until this 18Z run. Okay, that's good to know. And that's pretty much what I gotta say. Again, Northern Threat looking like mainly a damaging wind large hail threat within some linear segments and some marginal supercells. And further south, that's your best chance for something more robust taking shape. And I think that's probably your best chance as well for potentially seeing a strong to intense tornado threat, which is rather conditional. But if any supercell can really initiate, there's a good chance that it's probably gonna be tornadic given favorable low level photographs, pretty streamlined low levels, and that's pretty much all I gotta say. Hopefully there's audio, and if there is, that's great. That's great.